This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. New stimulus checks going out. We got this $136 direct payments under a new plan, $250 checks going out to certain Americans from a $9 million pot, and $3,600 checks are going out in a lump sum for November. Bernie Sanders has a new plan of what needs to be done to help out the country and inflation. I'll play the video clip of what he says, and a new study says that Americans are cutting back on groceries due to rising food prices, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more straight-to-the-point updates on a daily basis. And so we are leaving New York today. The wedding went well. All was good. Also, thank you so much for all the kind words and well wishes and the prayers for my ankle injury. Still hurting a lot. It was really a rough time, but I'll give you more updates later on at the end of the video. Let's get into this. Uncertainty clouds holiday shopping for consumers as inflation takes a toll. So for some Americans, if they have the luxury of holiday shopping, then yeah, I guess that's a good thing. But inflation is weighing heavily on consumers' attitudes this holiday shopping season. Many shoppers are planning to make fewer purchases and at a discount, several reports show, and still households will spend $1,455 on average on holiday gifts. I'll tell you right now, that is a lot of money. I'm not sure. I've spent that over a few different holidays, $1,455, but that's just me, and I'm a little cheap. But yeah, so it looks like holiday shopping may not happen this year. Dollars aren't stretching as far as most consumers will be looking for bargains. And a separate report, Black Friday, found that 70% of shoppers will be taking inflation into consideration when shopping this holiday season, and even more will be on the lookout for deals. Nearly 33% of shoppers also plan to buy fewer gifts this year. Let me know down in the comments below, with the way things are, the economy, the money situation, do you plan on doing holiday shopping this year? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. But more importantly, U.S. shoppers are cutting back on groceries as food prices surge 13%. According to this new survey, about 24% of U.S. grocery shoppers said they often purchase fewer items than usual in September, up from 15% in October of 2021. Even as they dialed back purchases of meat, opted for generic brands, and clipped more coupons, according to a survey done by the Morning Consult. And shoppers cut down on non-essentials last month amid a 13% surge in food at home or grocery prices, according to the September Consumer Price Index. And purchasing fewer items overall is an increasingly common tactic concerned consumers are employing to save on groceries amid persistent price growth in the category. Let me know also, are you cutting back on grocery shopping due to food prices? I see it all the time. Food prices are constantly going up. It's definitely changing our decision-making process. If you want to make your dollar stretch, we don't even know if it's going to get worse in the future. When it comes to that, though, soaring prices at the grocery store likely to linger into next year. So despite what economists said maybe last year, it's not transitory. It looks like these prices are going to stay up into 2023 when a recession may happen, which is what a lot of the economists and CEOs are saying. So big names here, from Elon Musk's super bad feeling to Jamie Dimon's warnings of an economic hurricane. CEOs are shouting that 2023 is going to suck. So this is the CEO of Chase, Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk is a billionaire, but 91% of U.S. CEOs anticipate there will be a recession in the next 12 months, and the economic uncertainty has prompted dozens of major companies to announce layoffs and hiring freezes. From Tesla to FedEx, here are, there's a bunch of predictions. Basically, to give you a summary of the article, 9 out of the 10 CEOs are basically saying a recession is coming, things are going to get worse. But if you're rich like them, it doesn't really make a difference. It's actually probably more beneficial because houses and other assets, stocks, anything like that, businesses are all going to be on sale, basically, really low prices, and then the rich people will just buy more of that because they have plenty of cash on hand. So for them, it doesn't really matter much, but for the average American like you and me, it's going to really hit bad. And then also, Bernie Sanders says Republicans blame Biden for inflation. Really? Well, what is to blame for inflation and what is being done about it? Take a look at this video clip right here, Bernie Sanders.
We are 16 days out from the midterm elections here in the United States, and the fight for control of Congress will center on just a few key races. As early voters have already started to cast their ballots, Democrats might be wondering where their summer optimism went, as poll after poll shows swing voters shifting towards Republicans. With inflation making your lives more expensive amidst fears of a recession, Republicans are doing everything they can to make sure the economy and rising crime statistics in some places are what you think about as you decide who to put in power in Washington. It's a message Democrats are struggling to counter on inflation and the economy. This week, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says her party needs to, quote, message it better. My next guest has been sounding this alarm for months, warning Democrats that avoiding talking about the struggling economy would guarantee defeat in November. In the closing days of the campaign, he plans to cross off a battleground checklist: Oregon, Nevada, Wisconsin, Florida, Pennsylvania, presenting his own views on exactly how Democrats should be talking to voters about the economy. And joining me now is Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who, of course, caucuses with the Democrats in the Senate. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. So you've been calling on Democrats to focus on the economy, not only on other issues like abortion rights or attacking Republicans. It has been months since you've been repeating this message. The election is 16 days away. How's it going? Are you worried Democrats still have not found the right message on the economy?
Well, look, what I think, Jake, is at a time when working families are struggling, having a hard time filling up their gas tanks, paying for food, paying for prescription drugs, we are living in a nation today where the richest people are doing phenomenally well. And one of the reasons for inflation is the incredible level of corporate greed. Check out the profits of the oil companies, the drug companies, the food companies. Their sky-high profits are ripping off the American people. And there are studies out there that estimate that 50% of inflation has to do with corporate greed. So I think what the Democrats have got to say is we are going to stand with working people. We're prepared to take on the drug companies. We're prepared to take on the insurance companies and create an economy that works for all of us. Is the abortion issue important? Yes. But we have also got to focus on the struggles of working people to put food on their table.
Early voting has started in key states such as Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada. What are you seeing and hearing about energy among Democratic voters right now out there?
Well, I am worried about the level of voter turnout among young people and working people who will be voting Democratic. And I think, again, what Democrats have got to do is contrast their economic plan with the Republicans. What are the Republicans talking about? They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid at a time when millions of seniors are struggling to pay their bills. Do you think that's what we should be doing? Democrats should take that to them. Democrats want to have Medicare negotiate prescription drug prices. We pay 10 times more for the same drugs that are sold in Canada. Republicans refuse to do that. So I think what we have got to do is contrast what a strong pro-worker Democratic position is with the corporate agenda of the Republicans.
But to play devil's advocate here, if I'm a swing voter out there, a young voter, a working class voter, I hear your message, I think, but you guys control everything. Democrats control the House and the Senate and the White House, and inflation is really high, and I'm having a tough time making ends meet. Why should I vote for you again?
Well, we have half the votes, exactly half the votes in the Senate, and a tiny majority in the House. And I think it's important that when we talk about inflation, Republicans will say, well, this is Joe Biden's fault. Really? Our inflation rate is much too high. It is 8%. It is 10% in the UK, 10% throughout Europe, 7% in Canada. Inflation is a global problem caused, by the breaking of supply chains because of the pandemic, by the war in Ukraine, and as I said, significant part of inflation has to do with corporate greed. What are the Republicans' response to inflation? What do they want to do? Well, maybe they want to cut wages for workers. Do they want to raise the minimum wage? No, they don't. So I think it's important to take the attack to the Republicans. What do they want to do other than complain? But bottom line is, you cannot cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, which is what they want to do. We have got to lower prescription drug costs, which is not what they want to do.
A lot of fears out there that a recession is coming, and President Biden even told me at the White House last week that he thinks a slight recession is possible. Take a listen.
Should the American people prepare for a recession?
No, I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession. That is, we'll move down slightly.
Do you think the U.S. is headed for a recession, and is there anything that can be done to stop it?
Well, I think what we certainly don't want to see is a Fed raising interest rates right now, which will result in more unemployment and lower wages. Here is the reality. You know, you ask, Jake, why people are upset, why young people are upset, working class people are upset, and the answer is pretty simple. For the last 50 years in this country, real wages have not gone up. That's a reason to be upset. Meanwhile, you got three people on top who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. So what working people all over this country are saying, you know what? We are sick and tired of seeing all of the wealth, all of the income going to the people on top. Help us out. Why are we the only country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people? Why do we pay the highest prices for prescription drugs? Why do we have a minimum wage today? Republicans don't want to raise it. $7.25 an hour. That is a starvation wage. Why do kids leave school deeply in debt?
Right.
So we need an aggressive government that says we're on your side, not on the side of the billionaires.
But do you think a recession is coming?
Hard to say. I think if we do the right things, we can protect the working class of this country.
Some Democrats are calling to abolish the debt ceiling altogether after House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, poised to become the next speaker, threatened to use it as leverage for further spending cuts if Republicans win back the House. Take a listen to President Biden and Treasury Secretary Yellen, who have different views on how to move forward on the debt ceiling.
I think it's become increasingly damaging to America to have a debt ceiling.
Do you support the permanent repeal of the debt ceiling, sir?
You mean just say we don't have a debt limit?
No debt.
No. That'd be irresponsible.
You are the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee. Do you side with President Biden, or is Secretary Yellen right? It's time to get rid of the debt ceiling.
Look, what I side with, you're going to have to increase the debt ceiling. But what Republicans are basically doing, and I hope everybody understands this, they're saying, look, we are prepared to let the United States default on its debt, not raise the debt ceiling, unless, you talk about, making cuts. You know what they're talking about? Cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Is that irresponsible? It is absolutely irresponsible. You don't use the debt ceiling to do that.
So you side with President Biden on this. You raise the debt ceiling, but you keep it.
Yes.
Okay. President Biden said on Friday he believes crime is a real issue in the 2022 campaign. Overall, violent crime is up in some major cities in 2022, such as New York, Seattle, Los Angeles. One recent poll puts higher crime rates second, only below inflation, on the list of top issues concerning voters. Are you worried that Democrats are missing a major undercurrent here? How should Democrats be talking about crime?
Crime is a real issue. Violence is a real issue. And I'll tell you something, I go all over the state of Vermont. This drug problem and the addiction to drugs and the violence that drug causes is a huge problem all over this country. So we have got to focus in a smart way, not in a way that foments fear. But how do you deal with the growing addiction? How do you deal with the opioid crisis? And that means making investment in our young people, in good education, in good job training, and making sure that we have good law enforcement doing the right job all over this country.
What are your thoughts there with Bernie Sanders? Do you agree, disagree? He's been a lot more vocal with the midterm elections coming up because Democrats are in trouble. But do you agree with Bernie? Did he overstep some boundaries there? Let me know your thoughts on what he said. Let's get into some stimulus news here. Lump sum November stimulus checks worth up to $3,600 sent in the mail to 9 million Americans. The dates you must know. So potential recipients who have not filed for their payment were notified by the IRS this month. Still 9 million waiting for their checks. So basically, taxpayers that missed the deadline to file their taxes had until October 17th to claim their check. So we're past October 17th. And basically, between the American Rescue Plan or the child tax credit, the $3,600 from the American Rescue Plan. Basically, those checks are going out to people who want to claim them and did not get them yet. And then also thousands of Americans to get $250 direct payments under $9 million pot. So thousands of homeowners will be getting $250 rebate checks from a surplus in expected revenue from collecting sales taxes over the past 2 years. This is going on in Schenectady County, New York. Yes, so $250 for those New Yorkers. And then here, thousands of Americans in line to get $136 in direct payments under new plan. Would you be eligible? This is real estate tax credits refunds in Richmond, Virginia. So homeowners in Richmond, Virginia getting $136 credits there. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you one thing that is so funny about me. I'm back! So, get to something else. When you feel really a little bit down, you should call a friend or a family member because then you could feel more better. Like I have this here. That's all I want to speak to. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So yeah, the wedding went well. Took the past 2 days off. It's just really hard. With my ankle. It's not much better, still really swollen. It's been hard doing the driving, going to the wedding. It was cool and everything, but, talking and stuff, it just put a big toll on my ankle. Really needed to rest, but it was fun. Had a good time, had a nice farm theme to it in upstate New York. And also, thank you so much for all the kind words and the well wishes with my ankle. When I get back to Myrtle Beach, I'm going to figure out what is actually going on, when this will get better. Didn't really have a chance to see the orthopedist, so I'll keep you updated with that. And we are heading back to Myrtle Beach today, have the flight, get into the flight right after I publish this video for you. So next video should be back in Myrtle Beach. And thanks again for all of your support. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my latest pickleball instructional video with my good friend Jeff, you could click that up here if you want to learn more about getting better at pickleball. Click right up there, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.